Hey everybody, so today's video is going to be my June wrap up. Yes, if you want to know what I read in April and May, because it didn't do a wrap up for those months, you can go on my Goodreads and you can, check it out there. I was not going to do April, May, and June in one video. Just, it is too hot in my house for that. And I actually read a lot of books in June, so that video really wouldn't have worked out. But if you want to know what I read in the past couple of months, you can go on my Goodreads and you can check it out. So let's just go ahead and jump right the fuck into this so that this video is not super long. But the first book that I read was Curiosity House by Lauren Oliver and H.G. Chester. This is book 2, The Screaming Statue. I really loved this one. This was not as good as why did I say I really loved it? I didn't really love it. I love the characters, but this was not as good as the first book, like not at all. But I love the characters, so I'll be continuing on with the series. I think I gave that a 3.5 if I'm not mistaken. The next book I also gave a 3.5, and that is Behind the Bookcase by Mark Steensland. This one I thought was alright. I gave it a 3.5. The reason that I gave it a 3.5 was because of all the illustrations in here, because there are so many. Like, there's so many. I don't know, you can't see it like that. Okay, let's see. Like, there are so many illustrations just all over the place. It's amazing. Illustrations everywhere. Almost on every other page there's an illustration, and I really love that about when middle grade books do that. I think that just adds like an extra awesome factor to them. But there are so many illustrations in here. The chapter headers are awesome. They're like these ghostly hands. I told you guys that this said that it was in here. It says that it's a horror novel, but it's not a horror novel. No, it lied. This is more of like an Alice in Wonderland meets Coraline, meets Spirited Away, meets Gravity Falls. So if you like that, don't really like this. I found it kind of predictable. And it really doesn't like do anything. Like, after I read it, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. But I really like the illustrations, so that's why I got a 3.5. Then the next one I read is The Case of the Missing Moonstone by Jordan Stratford. This is book 1 in the Wollstonecraft Detective Agency by Jordan Stratford. I just said that. But I read the audiobook and the physical book together, which I recommend. Because I was not an audiobook person before. Like, you cannot get me to read an audiobook. I had tried it a long time ago, and I tried a few. I couldn't. I tried the Harry Potter ones. I couldn't do them, and it just it didn't work for me. But years went by, and I finally decided to give them a try again, and I like them. Reading the physical and audiobook together by themselves, like listening to an audiobook by itself, I'm still not ready for that. I tried it and it didn't work out for me, and I will just talk about that right now. But this is like a MP3 player that I think I showed you guys it already. But it's like an MP3 player like this. It's really cool, and I don't know if they sell these like you can buy them in the store, which I think would be pretty cool. But they have them at the library where you can check them out. And this was, how long was this? Hold on a second. I think it was, how long? 3.5 hours. So I read the book in 3 hours, which was awesome. But I really like this one. I think I only gave it a 3.5, but I liked it. It's really cool on the inside. It does take place in Victorian London, which I've had an obsession with for a really long time. Like, ever since I was like a teenager, I've always had an obsession with Victorian London, like the 1800s and all that, like Jack the Ripper and just all that era just was, and I've been writing stuff that takes place in that era, especially middle grade, so if anything works out with that, you can look forward to that. But it wasn't intentional for me to pick up any middle grade that take place in the Victorian era, but it happened, and I don't know, I just thought that was really weird. But this is a mystery novel. As I said, it wasn't that good. It could have been way better. There wasn't any murder in here, which, if there is a mystery, I feel like there's got to be murder. But it's just about a missing moonstone. But it was good. I would recommend it. along with the audiobook. I would say to read them together. Then the next one that I read is the one that I read by itself. And funny enough, I read this one by itself and didn't like it, but the other audiobook that I read by itself, I did like, and we'll get to that one. This was only 2 hours long, and this is The Case of the Stolen Sixpence by Holly Webb, and this is the first in the Mysteries of Maisie Hitchens, which I will not be, reading on with. This one actually locked on me, so I can't show it to you guys, but this one wasn't good at all. I gave it like 2 stars. Didn't care for it. I listened to it while I was editing videos, and I was paying enough attention to it to, listen to everything, and it wasn't that good. It was very, very just plain and basic, and I didn't like it at all. I really didn't. But reading it by itself as well probably had a little bit of, a factor into me giving it such a low rating, because I think reading the audiobook and the physical book together works better for me. But yeah, just still, even the story alone was really boring. The next one I read was Wild Boy by Rob Lloyd-Jones. And this one I loved a lot. I read this also with the audiobook on my Audible app, and I'm on the free trial right now because I ain't paying $14 a month for that shit. Hell no. But I'm on the free trial. I got this, and then they gave you another credit, which I'm probably gonna get the second book. Use the credit to get the second book, and they get the second book in the series from the library, because I really, really love this one. I want to own a copy now for my shelf, so I will be, getting hold of one really soon. But this one also takes place in Victorian London in 1841, and it's about this boy named Wild Boy, who is very observant. Well, let me just say that it's like Sherlock Holmes meets American Horror Story Freak Show. And you're probably like, Richard, that's kind of like an adult type of, comparison you're making, but this is really fucking dark. Really dark. While I was reading this, I was just like, oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. This author went there, and I love that. I love that he was pushing the envelope, and it was just made this book way more amazing, and I really loved it. It is a mystery about this boy who has hair all over his body. They call him Wild Boy, and he's considered a freak, and he performs in this traveling freak show, and he ends up being pinned for the murder of this man, and everyone's out to get him, and he's on the run, and with the help of a friend, he's trying to figure out who killed this man and who's killing more people in London, because there are more people getting knocked off. And this was just fun. It was non-stop fun. This audiobook was 5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So I read this in 5 hours, but I loved the crap out of it. It was amazing. And the next one that I read was Goosebumps Horrorland, We Have Strange Powers by Earl Stein. I read the audiobook this together. I liked the audiobook more because it had sound effects and music, and it was just a lot more fun to read. But I didn't like it. I think I gave this like 2 stars, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that I did not fucking know that this was a series that you had to read books 1, and read them in order, and I didn't know that, and that's why I gave it a low rating. But still, the story that takes place before like the real story is happening, where you have to read the other books, that one just really wasn't like, it really didn't do anything for me. But I did like the audiobook still, yes, but that was okay. Then the next one that I read was Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask by Earl Stein. This one was actually pretty cool. It was like 2 or 3 stories, and it was like 2 stories in one, right? It was kind of like 2 stories in one, 2 books in one. And I really liked it. It's really funny. On the back there's like blurbs from The Haunted Mask, Earl Stein, The Invisible Man, Slappy the Dummy, and it was like, this was really fun, and I really liked it. And then I read, let me go to that right here, is by Earl Stein, Welcome to Dead House, which I read a long time ago, but I wanted to reread it on audiobook, because I found the audiobook on YouTube, and I will link it below so that you guys can check it out. But these are the 90s ones where they are abridged, so they are condensed, so expect that. Like, this one was only 46 minutes long. You pretty much were like listening to a movie. But I love this one. There was sound effects. It was really cheesy and corny, and I really loved it. But yeah, so I would recommend you listen to them, though. Those are really fun. I think I'm gonna listen to a couple more. They are abridged, so I guess like that probably would bother some people, but I don't care. They were really fun. And yeah, so I'm still reading Constable and Toop. I gave the Welcome to Dead House 3.5, but I'm still reading Constable and Toop by Gareth P. Jones. I'm not done with it, so that's why I didn't make it into the June wrap-up, but it will make it into the July wrap-up because I still have like 200 pages. As I'm filming this video, I have 200 pages to go. So yeah, and I'm really liking it. I am loving this. So yeah, so that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time with another video. Let me know if you're gonna read any of these books, or if you've read any of them, what you thought of them. And yes, alright, so I will see you guys. Bye.